The cost of being a people pleaser. Welcome to my channel, Habit Compass. Today, we're getting into the architecture of boundaries, and honestly, the true art of saying no. We're going to break down exactly what happens when we constantly prioritize everyone else over ourselves and how we can finally put a stop to it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Every time you say yes to someone else, you are saying no to yourself. I want to anchor this entire video to this super powerful idea right off the bat. You see, our time and our energy, they're a zero-sum game. You don't have an infinite supply of hours in the day, and you definitely don't have endless emotional bandwidth. So when you allocate that precious energy to someone else's request, you are literally subtracting it from your own needs, your own goals, and your own well-being.
So imagine this little stick figure is you, just standing there at baseline. This is you right at the start of the day. You're peaceful, you're balanced, you're completely ready to take on the world. This is long before your phone starts buzzing and those outside requests are pouring in.
But then the day actually starts. First, someone hands you a little box labeled help. Okay, not too bad, right? You take it. Then along comes a favor. Sure, you grab that one too. But before you even know it, someone swings by and stacks this massive job box right on top. See how fast that escalated? Box by box, you were just piling on other people's burdens.
And that brings us to the inevitable physical and emotional toll. Your arms are completely full now, and you're dangerously wobbling under the immense weight of everyone else's priorities. This isn't just a cute metaphor for being busy, it's a literal visualization of burnout. Your schedule is packed tight, your mental load is incredibly heavy, and you are just one tiny nudge away from completely toppling over.
I want to just pause the narrative for a second here and ask you this directly. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we allow our arms to get so full that we reach this breaking point of being totally overwhelmed? We all know that horrible wobbling feeling, yet we keep saying yes, and we keep taking on more boxes. So what is actually going on behind the scenes in our minds?
Well, the answer is usually the fear of rejection. This is the underlying psychological drive that makes us say yes simply to avoid disappointing others. We take on all their weight, their help, their favors, their jobs, because we are deeply, deeply terrified of letting them down. We're afraid of them being upset with us or of losing their approval. So it's not always about just being helpful. It's actually this hidden engine of anxiety driving a constant need to please everyone else completely at our own expense.
So there you are. You're wobbling, you're totally exhausted, you're being driven by this fear of rejection, and then one more figure approaches. You can almost feel the tension peaking here, right? You're already at your absolute limit, and here comes yet another demand on your time.
But then, instead of taking the box, no. Just a massive, singular, and firm no. You finally set a limit. This is the climax of our story, and honestly, no is the absolute most crucial word you can learn to use when your arms are already full.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is what happens next. When we say no, our fear tells us the world is basically going to end. But what's the actual reality? The box just disappears. The other person peacefully walks away. There is zero drama. We build up these huge catastrophic scenarios in our heads, totally convinced that saying no will cause some massive explosion. But most of the time, life just goes on smoothly.
And because you finally stopped taking on new weight, you actually have the space to put those accumulated boxes down. You can stand up straight and take a really deep, restorative breath. That right there, that's the exact moment the wobbling stops.
That moment of peace, that stabilization where you can finally just breathe again, that is the direct result of establishing boundaries. And boundaries are not mean. They aren't selfish either. They are literally the structural framework that keeps you upright and keeps you sane.
Which brings us right back to the core lesson here. The incredible power of no. Saying no isn't a rejection of the other person. It is an incredible transformative tool for your own self-preservation. It is exactly how you claim back your energy.
So the crucial point is how we actually visualize and apply these boundaries. A lot of the time, we mistake boundaries for these aggressive, rigid walls meant to just block absolutely everything out. But healthy boundaries are actually gates. Think about it. A gate provides selective access. You hold the key and you choose when to open it. And those gates are designed to do two very specific, very healthy things. They let the right things in and they keep the wrong things out. You're not shutting yourself off from the world at all, you're simply curating your life so you only take on the requests that actually align with your capacity and your values. Which leaves us with a final, very important thought. When you finally stop handing out automatic yeses to everyone else's boxes, you reclaim your own time and your own energy. So What will you finally be able to say yes to once you start using your no? If you learned something new, subscribe to the channel for building better habits through navigating Compass and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you.